WNBA legend. Sue Bird and former U.S. women's soccer star Megan Rapinoe weighed in on the backlash over Caitlin Clark's remarks about white privilege in her interview with Time magazine. The Indiana Fever star spoke about her supposed white privilege as she said the WNBA has been built on the backs of Black players. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think it's very important, Clark said in the interview last week. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate Black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. Clark's reaction sparked a ton of backlash on social media. Bird said on the latest episode of her podcast with Rapinoe, A Touch More, that the anger around the white privilege comments proved something about her fans. Now, this faction of her fan base, which we've discussed before, that is now disgusted with her acknowledging, is just showing they were never really here for basketball, Bird said. Which, by the way, just proves that there are issues with race in this country. Like, to me, that just proves it. And I think where I've landed is I'd almost want to pose some questions. Bird then wondered whether there would have been any outrage about the incidents Clark was involved in during the course of her rookie season, if she were Black. I personally think she deserves to be Time Athlete of the Year, Bird continued. I think she earned that. And she's like, yeah, I've done enough to earn this. And I agree. And also is acknowledging her white privilege. And that is something that you're talking about, your experience. That's something I've had to acknowledge in my experience. I've won the championships. I've done the things. And there's this other part to it that I'm also going to acknowledge. And that, to me, is the world we live in. And to say it doesn't exist is really saying you don't live in the same world, or you're not seeing the same things, and that's obviously the root of all the conversations that we see today, not just in women's basketball, literally in our country, period. Bird added that at the end of the day, her race did not score points. Rapinoe took a shot at conservatives in her assessment. I think what Caitlin did in her quotes, or in the article, was speak explicitly about her white privilege. And that is what is receiving so much criticism or backlash. And that is the lesson, the former NWSL star said. So, for conservative media coming at her now, that obviously they're just showing their whole A. If fans are upset about her saying that and just acknowledging what is true, I think that says a lot. But I think the more that you speak directly to it, the clearer it becomes what your stance is. And then you can't be used in that way. It doesn't really leave your beliefs or your stance as a white player to any sort of interpretation. You're taking the space and owning the narrative yourself. I think another thing that I am constantly trying to think of and be aware of, and I want other people to be aware of also, anytime there is a positive story in women's sports, the sort of quote-unquote area, is immediately flooded with divisive narratives. But for all of us to just be aware of that anytime there's anything positive or honestly, just any news at all in women's sports, it's just immediately flooded with insanity and really divisive narratives. And I think to that, when we as athletes are being used, when is your narrative? When is your likes being used? When are the things that you're saying being used? Sports have an unparalleled ability to thrill, inspire, and at times frustrate us. They provide us with engaging experiences, connect us with fellow enthusiasts, and impart life lessons in perseverance, teamwork, and resilience. Most importantly, they fill our lives with joy, a sentiment that resonated deeply in 2024. This year in sports delivered a smorgasbord of delightful moments. After 2 Olympics overshadowed by strict COVID protocols, devoid of fans, and the warmth of familial support the Paris Games heralded a joyous return to form. Stadiums buzzed with excitement. Athletes reveled in the support of their loved ones, and the sheer joy of being present at such a grand event was palpable. The Paris Olympics truly marked a triumphant comeback. Yet, the Games exceeded expectations. Amid rising concerns regarding the exorbitant costs tied to hosting the Olympics, Paris proved that lesser, temporary venues could shine in captured moments. The beach volleyball arena beneath the iconic Eiffel Tower stood out as an emblematic feature, while events staged in the Grand Palais delivered mesmerizing visuals. The choice of accessible, city center locations meant that attending the Olympics felt more inclusive and inviting. And let's talk about the performances. Oh la la! Simone Biles further established her supremacy in gymnastics by clinching 3 additional gold medals, solidifying her position as the sport's greatest athlete. Léon Marchand was a crowd favorite in the pool, dominating event after event, whilst Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone made her mark by obliterating records. Once again, the U.S. basketball teams showcased their superiority, reaffirming their status as the gold standard in the sport. The Olympics successfully balanced the dual roles of celebrating sublime talent and challenging athletes to push their limits. Meanwhile, the spotlight on women's sports hit an unprecedented high in 2024, filled with record-breaking TV ratings, larger-than-life attendance figures, and sponsors eager to join the movement. This exciting shift, though long awaited, was a sight to behold. Longtime advocates for greater media coverage and visibility, female athletes proved this year that given the spotlight, they could captivate audiences. The NCAA women's basketball tournament outshined its male counterpart, with Caitlin Clark's Iowa squad's thrilling final against South Carolina, attracting 18.9 million viewers, compared to the men's championship garnering 14.8 million. Clark, along with emerging stars like Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, translated their enchanting NCAA performances into the WNBA, where 22 regular season games attracted an average of over 1 million viewers. The finals, featuring the New York Liberty's victory over the Minnesota Lynx, achieved the highest ratings in a quarter century, with every game comfortably sold out. The NWSL also surpassed expectations, surpassing 2 million in attendance figures for the first time in its 12-year history. The Kansas City Current broke new ground with a stadium specifically designed for a women's team. Excitement extended to women's NCAA volleyball, which quickly became a must-see event, while 3 new professional leagues emerged, heralding a fresh wave of talent. Nelly Korda captivated audiences with her triumphant conquest of several tournaments, tying the legendary Nancy Lopez and Annika Sorenstam by winning 5 consecutive titles. The WNBA draft saw her selected as the #1 pick, earning the league's Rookie of the Year accolade. Through her stardom, Clark has ushered a fresh audience into women's sports, particularly the WNBA, debunking notions that everybody watches women's sports was merely wishful thinking. Clark understands that her growth as a player was built on the path paved by those before her. Yet, like legends such as Tiger Woods, Magic Johnson, and Serena Williams, Clark has evolved into a transcendent figure in the sport. The brilliance of Simone Biles remains evergreen. At the Paris Olympics, she added 3 more gold medals to her illustrious collection, achieving elite status as only the 3rd woman to twice win individual all-around titles at the Olympics and the first to do so in non-consecutive games. She propelled the U.S. women's team to yet another team title and showcased a vaulting maneuver considered unprecedented in the sport. On Wednesday, it was confirmed that Clark will return to Iowa on February 2, 2025, when her famed number 22 jersey will be retired. The date is, fittingly, 2/2. It'd also be the same day as the Hawkeyes' big matchup against visiting USC and sophomore superstar Juju Watkins. In a statement, Clark said, "I'm forever proud to be a Hawkeye, and Iowa holds a special place in my heart that is bigger than just basketball. It means the world to me to receive this honor and to celebrate it with my family, friends, and alumni. It will be a great feeling to look up in the rafters and see my jersey alongside those that I've admired for so long." All the while, her trademark logo three-pointers, exciting play, and humility captivated millions of fans, many of whom had not paid attention to women's basketball. Her jersey became a hot commodity, and she became a pop culture influencer, appearing on Saturday Night Live and receiving endorsements from Nike, State Farm, and Gatorade. Her popularity continues to grow as she completed her first WNBA season with the Indiana Fever and captured Rookie of the Year honors. She recently was named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine. On deciding to honor Clark, Iowa's athletic director, Beth Goetz, said, "Caitlin Clark has not only redefined excellence on the court, but has also inspired countless young athletes to pursue their dreams with passion and determination. Her remarkable achievements have left an indelible mark on the University of Iowa and the world of women's basketball. Retiring her number is a testament to her extraordinary contributions and a celebration of her legacy that will continue to inspire future generations." Hawkeye fans are eager to say thank you for so many incredible moments. In April, after Iowa lost to South Carolina in the national championship game, the school announced that Clark's jersey would be retired. Her jersey already is placed in the rafters at Carver Hawkeye Arena, waiting to be unveiled. The ceremony will precede the game on February 2. Tip-off is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. ET and will be broadcast on Fox,